The way Ngannou and Fury are talking, it seems like that fight is kind of like a lock to happen. Are you involved in setting that up at all, or no?
Yeah, that fight's definitely not a lock.
Hey, you hate that when that happened? You hated it? Did you know it was coming?
Yeah, I know. Listen, they've been talking about it and everything. I mean, guys, Fury is the best boxer, one of the greatest boxers of all time. I mean, you look at the guys that he's beaten and how easily he's beating them. I don't know. We'll see how this whole thing plays out. I don't love the crossover fights. I don't love them.
Why not? Just because you think you're taking somebody out of their, like, what they're supposed to be in and almost diminishing their legacy? Is that why? Or because you just think...
Because they're fucking stupid. That's why. Fucking waste of time, energy, and money. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know. It's just, it's silly, but I get it. You know, everybody wants to try to, I don't know.
Francis,
I don't even know.
Francis is your champion. He's an absolute monster of a man. And if it goes the way they're setting it up, Tyson Fury boxing him with UFC gloves, that's a massive advantage for Tyson, I think is what you're trying to say. So you're like, is that why you're thinking like that?
Boxing is a massive advantage for Tyson Fury.
Yeah, but Ngannou's...
Boxing.
Yeah.
And Ngannou just wrestled Cyril Gane.
So you're saying maybe not the fairest for both fighters here, and we're going to say this the Ultimate Heavyweight Championship. Our guy's kind of fucked here, is what you're saying?
I mean, if you know anything about fighting, it's a silly conversation. It's a silly conversation.
How do you feel? Because you're right in the middle of all of this, though, because, with the old fighters getting into the boxing game, and then the Conor and Floyd thing that happened that you were a massive part of, which was a smashing success. I think that's only going to grow and grow. It feels like you were about over it already. It sounds like you're...
Well, the thing is that the Floyd-Conor fight took on a life of its own. I mean, everywhere I went, that's all people were asking me about, It got to a point where the fans wanted to see that fight and the media wanted to see that fight. And you know me, people aren't knocking our door down for this fight.
Well, I know people are for this weekend. I know you got a busy week. Congrats on 30th season of The Ultimate Fighter debuting today, and have an incredible weekend. What's fucking Friday? What are we eating fucking Friday?
Yeah, what am I eating for? Oh, apple pie nachos.
Oh, damn. Here we go. What a life. Congrats to you, man. Good luck with everything.
Thanks, boys. Have a great day.
All right, Dana White, ladies and gentlemen. He's not what that.
Not a fan.
No, he does not.
Not a fan of Connor's question. When Connor said it was a lock, I was like, I don't think that's the truth.
Yeah, well, I believe he even did a full. I do not think that is a lock. All right, let's fucking relax there. And it has to be because he knows his champ is in. So, because they were even talking like maybe they'll box with UFC gloves on, and it's like, whoa, that's better for Tyson. Much better for Tyson. Not that I'm a fan of Tyson Fury as well. I just thought even the original concept of the fight wouldn't necessarily be great for the UFC champion. It feels like Dana's feeling the same.
Well, and a mixture of that, because like for the guys who aren't boxing, like the allure, obviously, if he's fighting Tyson Fury, like Tyson Fury's making fucking $60 million doing that, and this guy, it probably is like you can make way more than what would even be sensible, like for just an average UFC fight.
Could you imagine Tyson Fury with smaller gloves?
Oh,
dangerous.
I mean, Tyson Fury picks apart the best boxers in the world. Francis Ngannou is obviously the heavyweight champion of the UFC, but it's different, man.
Man, good for...
But like they say, though, hey, if Francis catches him with one, like, it could go out.
How about Francis Hey, by the way, how about Francis being there in the ring, though? It's cool. Hey, this is happening. That was a cool little promotion there to see it. Dana said, it didn't seem like the reaction. Hey, sorry about it, boys.
I saw something where Dana said, too, like a lot of boxers are way overpaid as well.
Oh, so that's the entire...
Well, the guy that Fury fought got like what $6-7 million for that, and I think Francis got like $980 his last fight or something. That's like people try to say, why would Francis? Yeah, of course they're all trying to get these gigantic paydays.
The money thing is fascinating because the boxing.
How do these boxers get paid so much money?
They always say it's the old money, like the old. But where does it come from? I don't understand where the old money just comes from. The old people are just pouring money in because they've always
like the pay-per-views aren't like are the pay-per-views that much better? Or selling that high?
I don't know.
Yeah, and how has that not creeped into the UFC? Because the UFC every single weekend, it feels like.
Well, that's because that's where That's the point lies
The
there.
difference.
Dana's the one deciding all that, is what they say. Where all these previous promoters in boxing have already opened up the contracts a bit, probably. And it's kind of like a Pandora's box almost. Like, hey, this is how much fighters get versus how much they do in that. I don't know.
Well, and even no matter what, like he is getting probably a pretty decent chunk of the pay-per-view buys, and like there are only a handful of guys in the UFC who are getting that type of payment.
John Jones is getting back into fighting, right? Isn't he?
At some point, I don't know. I don't know if it's been confirmed or anything, but
It was
think
tweets. Wasn't there tweets about it?
Yeah, he did.
I hope he gets back into it.
Yeah. When John Jones is, I mean, the guy is so like creative and ballsy and just it's fun to watch.
He would have been the only guy I think in the UFC there for a bit. Him and Brock that could have done their own promotion. You know, like Floyd, not Floyd.
I don't know if John could. I don't know if John's an absolute stud.
I think he could have.
Like during
I don't know though.
run.
He never had that crazy like Conor appeal though. Like people loved him. He was so good, but he didn't have the following. He never had the following Conor had.
He was on Wheaties. I think he had a Nike deal. Remember,
yeah, he did. But he still didn't cross over into the absolute like superstardom that Conor has into everyday life.
Oh, okay, I get
it was
you.
in like the fighting combat world almost.
Yeah, I feel like okay, what I'm saying is I think he was on his way to doing such a thing. You're saying Conor did achieve it. Conor did actually get there. I agree completely, by the way. That is an accurate assessment on that. But John was...
I mean, John could be the best fighter of all time. Like, honestly, he's that good.
If he would have just kept fucking going and kept fighting and kept winning.
He hasn't lost. His only loss is a DQ where he hit a down guy or something, or he needed a down opponent or whatever.
Yeah, but then he's also failed a test after a win the day after, and that's been like ruled. What is that? A no contest?
No contest, I think.
Then it's ruled as a no contest or whatever. But how old is John Jones?
Still pretty young.
32, 33.
Yeah, he's young.
So he can still fight
34.
for a bit. 34 years old.
He turns 35 in July.
And Cowboy Cerrone's 48, I think. So then he's going to be able to fight for another 15 years.
I hope Cowboy wins.
I like the fact that he said, "I'm not throwing any young savages in with these guys." Like I feel like this is Dana doing a favor to two guys. Like, hey, all right, this is like last fight here. Let's go. I'm not gonna have you go out there and just get a 22-year-old that's trying to make a name for themselves in this entire thing either.